everyone, and welcome into this exclusive KREM 2 Plus live stream on this Weather Impact Alert Day, July 18th. I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Today we have red flag warnings and heightened fire danger all across eastern Washington. So that is the primary reason for our Weather Impact Alert Day for this Friday. And of course, when it comes to higher fire danger, we are tracking the wind speeds across the region, and they'll be at their peak for this afternoon. So the primary time frame we're looking at here is 2 to 10 o'clock in the evening hours today. High wind resulting in high fire danger. And of course, just respect all the burn bans across central and eastern Washington for today. They're usually in effect through the entire summer season, but it's just doubly important for today since there is stronger winds out there. So the background environment with the dry and windy conditions for this day, increasing and elevating fire danger to critical levels. Hence, red flag warnings issued by the National Weather Service all throughout central, eastern, and southern Washington. They also added some portions of North Idaho into the equation as well as of this morning. So again, time frame 2 to 10 o'clock in the evening, and it's all about how strong those wind speeds will be at around that 25 to 35 mile per hour wind gust mark. That's decently windy, actually not quite as bad as it was back on Monday, if you're going to use that as a reference point. So those wind speeds, thankfully, are not strong enough to cause damage in its own right, but any active wildfires or new wildfires that start would exhibit some pretty aggressive behavior due to those winds, basically fanning the flames, if you will. So we always look at the humidity and the wind as our two main weather conditions for these red flag warnings. Humidity values below 20% today, and wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour in the midst of what is a very dry environment for the inland Northwest. I'll say that Saturday is also going to be fairly windy, but the wind's a little slower and the humidity a little bit higher. So it's actually unlikely Saturday is also going to be a red flag warning day. It'll just be more of a decently breezy day, but not to this extreme level of fire danger. New wildfire starts are always possible, but like I said, the wind speed's likely not strong enough to cause any damage in its own right naturally. But any new or existing wildfires can certainly burn quite aggressively or start to cover more ground in this kind of environment, the wind being the primary factor of that. Speaking of any existing fires, these are the three largest that we've been tracking across northern Washington recently here. The Green Acres fire that was burning basically around the Omak airport, nearly contained. It was 95% contained at last check, and it's in that mop-up phase. The Western Pines fire actually burned through a lot drier and finer fuels, and it's kind of out of fuel to work with so long it doesn't get into any new areas. But that is certainly one of the larger fires that we've been watching just north of Davenport. And the Hope fire has been one of the largest fires so far this season in northern Stevens County near Northport. That over 7,000 acres burned. If anything, that's the fire that's going to exhibit the greatest fire behavior and the most aggressive behavior. But thankfully, it's actually so far north here that the westerly winds won't have quite as much of an impact in that region of the inland Northwest as it will in the Columbia Basin area. These are westerly winds. They need kind of that flatter surface of central and eastern Washington to work with because the mountain ranges to our north are oriented north and south. It actually provides a lot more shelter and resistant to those type of prevailing winds. It's usually worse when it's north and south winds in that case. So here's the wind speed forecast today. As mentioned, 25 to 35 miles per hour, likely strongest for central Washington. As for Saturday, I think it's eastern Washington and towards the Palouse that will get some of the strongest winds. Didn't look as severe tomorrow as it does today. So it is unlikely that tomorrow is going to need red flag warnings. It's just going to be a generally breezy day and not elevating fire concerns to those extreme levels. But still a breezy day and noteworthy enough. And by the time we get to Sunday, this is looking a lot calmer at just 5 to 15 mile per hour winds. Now to our satellite radar combination. This will show the storm system's location. And the center, which is an upper air low, is basically over British Columbia. But all this cloud cover that you see here extending southward and picking up a lot of speed. I've been tracking this since 5 a.m. this morning on Up with KREM, and it has basically cleared the entire province of British Columbia at this stage, and it's now working its way into Washington State as of right now, just about a half hour before the noon hour, which is when we are recording this weather hit for you. So the cloud cover increases. Hopefully that will drop the temperatures just a little bit, but there's so much wind energy associated with that this is the reason why we are forecasting wind speeds in that 30-mile-per-hour range. Unfortunately, not going to see any rainfall out of this. Basically, the mountains to our north over British Columbia, the Rocky Mountains region there, squeezing out any of that moisture before it even arrives. Here's our computer modeling, our future tracker, and the cold front hits at around 7 p.m., and there's no rain anywhere for the inland northwest. So it is a dry cold front passage as this really whips through the region by the time we get to the weekend. So it provides the wind, but unfortunately does not give us any kind of rainfall. That will not help our drought situation, of course. Here's the latest drought monitor update. We get this map updated once a week, issued on Thursday mornings, and it got significantly worse in the last week here. We've only had 1 day of rain in Spokane in the last 2 months, and that was on June 22nd, and that was barely 1/10 of an inch of rain on that day, so no wonder that the drought condition just continues to worse. Most of the state under at least moderate drought conditions, now half of the state under severe drought, and the Palouse, this red shaded area, now into that third level, which is the extreme drought conditions. And it's not set to get any better, especially with storm systems like this that continue to give us heat, wind, and just overall dry weather, basically taking any leftover moisture straight out of the ground and leaving it even worse than how it started. As for temperatures today, at 91 degrees, it's close to average, about 5 degrees above the normal for late July here. Decently hot without it getting too carried away. No need for heat advisories in this case. This is a normal hot July day for us. Low 90s looking likely across most of the inland northwest. Of course, this is a cold front that's going to pass through, so the weekend days will be just a shade lower or cooler temperature-wise. So you're looking at mid-80s for both Saturday and Sunday. This should be pretty comfortable for July heat here. As mentioned before, a little bit windier on Saturday, but probably not to any kind of impact for the region. Very enjoyable weather. If you got any outdoor plans, they are good to go, certainly for this weekend ahead. Very dry weather on the 7-day forecast. You might be eyeing down a small chance of rain next Tuesday. That is barely anything. It's like 10 to 20%. And so far, any recent rain chances like that have just not materialized in the Spokane area. So I would not get my hopes up for any kind of rain anytime soon. Instead, the priority is on the windy weather. Windy conditions today resulting in red flag warnings for central and eastern Washington from 2 to 10 o'clock today. Remember to practice caution when it comes to high fire danger days like this. Outside of that, stay cool and stay safe. I'm Meteorologist Thomas Patrick. We will see you at KREM 2 News at noon, and Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Lugu has you covered later on tonight. We will see you then. Have a great day, everyone.